Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy Doe, and today's video, I'm going to give you a little update on the messages I've been getting from the Moldavites this past week. But it was actually last night that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So this past week, a lot of shifts has been happening. Sometimes I just wake up and I just question, like, is this the same reality I want to sleep in, right? Because I'm doing so many shadow work and I'm cutting cords, clearing my energy field so that I can hold more space for people and hold on more to more Moldavites. Because I notice every time, like especially the really powerful ones, the one from Mount Shasta, when those actually come lands in their owner's hand, I just feel like a big shift happen, right? Just like a weight off my shoulders. And then literally the next day, like 2 or 3 more sales comes in, right, from a different stone. So it's very interesting to see, like once something leaves my field, like it allows more people to come to find their stones. So I started noting that pattern. I just feel like, all right, people, they're gonna come for their stones, and once those are gone, then my energetic field is strong enough to take on more. I can tell you, right, just one small piece is really powerful. But when you're talking like the activated ones from Mount Shasta, I've never experienced anything like this. And even, I shared with you one of my friend who held this one. She literally, and she's in the program with me. Like, so we're both clear channels basically. But when she held it the first time I brought it back, she literally bawled crying. And then she had to like dropped it off to my chest and like ran to the restroom to compose herself. Like, this is how powerful the Mount Shasta stones are. And I have 13, I have about 16 in here. And sometimes when I'm around so much Moldavite, I forget that I have a lot. And my friends would always try to remind me, it's like, hey Tammy, just so you know, you have a lot of Moldavite on you. And it has its good and its bad. I think right now it's just for me just to tune in as much as I can, just to give guidance on what's happening with the ascension. So last night, I typically work around 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Those are my best working hours, just because everyone's asleep, right? That work field, the momentum stops. If you listen to Abraham Hicks, right? So imagine like energetic field. Everyone's going to sleep. Like during the day, I get depleted. I noticed this past week I've been sleeping a lot more. I just feel like really, really tired. And I don't know if it has anything to do with Halloween coming up. I think when I first got to Denver, I sensed, well, it's about 3 weeks ago, I sensed a lot of entities starting to come out. And it's weird because recently my intuition was guiding me, like, okay, start wearing protection stones, right? So this one is Sujolite, and it's the violet flame, and this one is the evil eye for protection. So they teach us in the program, like, you don't have to be afraid of anything, which I don't feel afraid. However, I keep getting guided to wear these protection stones. And there was one day where when I got out the basement, right? Because remember, when our bodies open, it's easy for us to tune into an energy. And I just remember I came out of the basement, and all of a sudden my body began to hiss. Right? It was so interesting. Typically, that I notice when that happens, when I feel there's entity around, and then they kind of take over, and then I would have to command them to leave. But this one, right when I stepped out the basement, it was like went straight at me, and I'm like, what the? Anyways, called down the Ascended Masters, called out the angels, and his legion, Archangel Michael and his legion of angels, to come down and clear it and escort all these entities out. But that was kind of like an unreal experience. I don't think it's the house. It's when I took a walk outside, like I felt them. And just imagine how many lost souls there are right now with the whole coronavirus thing. There's a lot out there. And but yeah, I just noticed a lot more entities, especially around Halloween. this is probably my first year that I'm conscious of it. Like I feel it. And so, yeah, it was interesting. So last night when I went to bed, around 2 a.m., the message that came through was, we're taking you on the spaceship and we're leaving old Earth. And you guys already know my story, right? Because I've done so much shadow work this past year, I can tune in with the Moldavite, and I have so much because they're constantly guiding me. And sometimes when I go on, originally when I went on this whole journey across the U.S. gridding, sometimes it's so strong that my body just kind of take over, and I like my 3D self will be, oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna sustain myself doing this again, like gridding the US and car rental and Airbnb. Like it got really, really expensive. Time and time again, the motive was like, just go and just trust. And every single time it just worked out. So for sure, I know I'm being guided and led to grid at these different locations and activate different sets of stones. However, last night it was like, okay, we're taking you on the spaceship and leaving old Earth. And it was interesting because before that, right, my feed randomly had something about a spaceship, being in a spaceship. I don't know why, but it showed up my feed. And that was random. Nothing's really random, right? The first question I asked is like, why is it in my field? I kind of forgot about it. And then when I went to sleep, that was when the hit came again. The message came through. It was like, okay, go to sleep. We're going to take you on the spaceship and we're going to leave old Earth. And this wasn't my first experience, like sensing being in a spaceship. When I go into these deep trance, deep meditations, I've had experience of it before. Most of the time is at night. And if you're if you're in Denver, right? This is my first time in Denver, like actually open, feeling all these energies. There's so many spaceships up there. I feel them. All these cloud formations, they think it's cloud formations. They're cloaks. They're UFO cloaks. They're all over the place in Denver. And I realized like Mount Shasta, one of the most powerful, it is the most powerful grid point for Earth because that's where all the cosmic energy comes in to for the light grid. And Mount Shasta is a 14,000 feet mountain. And even Machu Picchu is not 14,000, right? I thought Machu Picchu was higher, but it was only like 10,000. I don't remember. And even the tallest mountain in Vietnam that I trekked up 2 days for, it's not even close. It's like 10,000. And I didn't even feel that much, this huge energy shift when I was in Mount Shasta versus when I came to Machu Picchu. That was like a hit in the face with elevation. But Mount Shasta, I just felt like it was normal. But something about Mount Shasta is 14,000 feet. And then I also realized in Colorado, it's known for a ton of 14,000 feet mountains. And I'm like, oh my God, Colorado is another huge grid point for the light grid. No wonder all these UFOs are around here. And, I follow Gaia on some of the guys that talks about like alien spaceships. I think it was David Wilcox was one of the original videos I've listened to him, and people were asking like, he was talking about this whole ascension thing. And someone asked, like, okay, if this end of the world does happen, like, where would people go? And he didn't really give an answer. But he's like, I don't know. It just depends on where people are guided to. But he moved to Colorado. And I'm like, that's interesting. I had no plans to be in Colorado. Like, honestly, when I started this trip, no plan to be in Colorado. It's too cold for me. I cannot handle the cold. Houston is always so hot. California, I love just because the weather's always like in the 70s, 80s. But Colorado, it got down to like -2 degrees the other day, and I did not leave the house for like 3 days. But it is so interesting because when you get to these higher frequencies, right, the higher you go, the colder it gets. So I'm starting to piece all this together. But last night was the night when they told me, go to sleep, or we're going to take you and we're going to leave old Earth. So if you don't know about the new Earth, old Earth, right? So the first question I asked, like, what about my family? And I remember when I first started this journey, I made a pact with them. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do all this, then I want to just like make sure my whole family's okay. And so that was the agreement I got, right? Because when you're talking to the universe on a spiritual level, um, there's contracts and agreements that we can set up. So that was my agreement. It's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do this whole thing, go all in, like I at least want to know my family is safe, and so I got to go for that. And so that was the message I got last night. Uh, so if you follow Dolores Cannon's work, she talks about the old earth and the new earth, right? One day we're gonna, for the people who believe in the old earth, like they shift their frequency, then they're gonna wake up the next day and not seem like anything happened. But the one who are stuck in old earth, they're gonna wake up the next day and experience this whole apocalypse starting to unfold. I also want to make a note for those who are working with Moldavite and you're going to sleep. Um, a lot of times you may see me in your dreams, or Moldavite comes into your dream. Just know that your body is surrender. Now Moldavite is taking your consciousness, right? Because water has memory. Water comes in three forms: ice, vapor, liquid. So when we're asleep, we're kind of like in vapor form. Here's you. Here's the energy of Moldavite up here. So in a way, Moldavite, when we're tuned into Moldavite, we're having this straight connection where it's kind of guiding us. This is our higher self. This is my higher self frequency of me, right? So when I tell people ask like, who you're tuning into, it's me. It's my higher self. When you get to these higher level consciousness, it's a consciousness of a collective, and there's also an individual consciousness. But every time I tune in, like I make sure my field's clean, and I make sure that I'm only tuning into my higher self version connected to the Moldavite. So here's the whole matrix, right? The Moldavite is kind of like up here, trying to guide me where to go down here. Okay, go grid here, 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 here. It's kind of like you playing a video game, and the controller is like, okay, Tammy, move right, move left. But the person in the game is not really sure where the guidance is coming from, right? But until we figure out like how to tune into that guidance, and then now my higher self's like, okay, figure all these signs, right? Okay, if you want to do this, then this is like a yes. I use intuition test. But that's basically it. Is your higher self trying to talk to your 3D version of yourself, your physical body, on where to go. It's guiding. It's all guiding us. And once you tune in and you catch the messages and you learn how to talk to your stones, tune in, intense synchronicities happen, like miracles, things I've never imagined would happen, like happened. So that's what I figured out. If you want to get tuned into Moldavite, first your body has to be a clear channel, meaning your chakras have to be cleared. And what I mean by chakras is when you put a pendulum on it, you'll see it spinning in different directions. It's really videos in the chakra videos, but when you put a pendulum, that was the first time I ever realized, like, oh my god, these are moving in different directions. Once you clear up these chakras now and cut all these cords, then you can actually hold on to your Moldavite, and it's going to actually help your body ascend to this higher frequency. I hope that makes sense. We got the old earth and the old earth, the new earth and the old earth. Back in June, when there was a Sirius star alignment, that was when the split actually happened. And I remember that day because I just remember that night of the Sirius star alignment, I just felt like a shock wave, like went through all throughout my body around 4:44 a.m. And I've never experienced anything like that. So during that time, the message I got was, hey, old earth is splitting with the new earth. So right now, it's really important for these light workers, these star seeds, to start doing the work. And I followed Dolores Cannon's work just because a lot of her stuff just really resonates with me. And I've had a near-death experience. So what she's saying, before I even knew about her, really, really was on point. So what is she's saying is like there's going to be a split, right? And if you follow the law of one, also talks about this ascension. So back in June, the split happened. I got the message. I shared it with the people in my program, and some of them like, yeah, they felt like a huge shift that night. So last night I got the message. It was like, okay, we're taking you in the spaceship. Your family's already there, and we're leaving old Earth. So I don't know if that means I don't know. Anybody else who's working with Moldavite or tune into this whole new Earth split? Tune into anything about it? I really thought it wasn't going to be to December 21st, which is the winter equinox of this year, because that's the date I keep getting for like this pole shift or something massive is going to happen. But something shifted last night, and yeah, that was the message. And today I woke up, it just felt like a whole different energy. And people, like 4 or 5 people actually came for their stone. That's not really common, right? Just because my stones are like, it's typically like 2-3 or 1-2-3 sales a week, but it hasn't been like a big chunk in a day. So yeah, if you tune into like this old earth new earth thing, let me know what you're tuning into. That's the message I got last night. So I'm also being called to leave Colorado here soon and grid more locations as I head back to Texas. So if you guys know of anything on the way, like national parks, large vortexes, any area that you feel like may be a possibility for gridding, let me know. Because now I'm just letting the universe kind of guide me. And usually when you guys comment, I kind of pick up on who says what, and I tune in to get if that's the right answer, if that's what I'm being guided to go or not. And it's always just a matter of asking my intuition and tuning in with the stones, and they'll tell me because some of this stuff is not, it's not in my library of knowledge. So I wouldn't know, and if I just don't have the time capacity to do all this research, but I just know that I'm gonna head out of Colorado soon, pack up all my grids and start gridding more locations, and then head back to Texas. Yeah, for the equinox. I don't know. So let me know what you guys think. That was the message I got last night. I feel like now it's just more teaching people, because right now I'm pretty confident my energy field is right, because the more I clear myself, my lineage and my family is also healed, and that's how you heal your family, because we're all blood related, right? And so when we clear this energy, the energy is stuck in our blood as well. So when you're doing lineage, past life, especially lineage work, we're not only healing ourselves, we're healing our family. So I've been doing a lot of purging, clearing energy, and yeah, I feel like now it's just me to teach, to reach those who are still back in old earth, so that they can shift their frequency by the end of the year to really make this whole ascension. But yeah, if you guys want to know more about it, go look into Dolores Cannon's books. There's one that's called The New Earth and 3 Waves of Volunteer. There's also one called Life After Death, and very, very fascinating, and it just resonates so much with me. But yeah, so that was a message for the Moldavite. But that is all I have for today. Let me know what you guys think. If you're tuned into anything with the Moldavite and any other location from Colorado to Texas that I could possibly go grid more Moldavites at. So right now we have, I forgot it was 8 or 9 that's already gridded. The last one I gridded was at the Garden of the Gods. I may get another set soon. Get it activated at the Garden of the Gods before I head out to a different vortex. But yeah, let me know if you guys tune into any location that would be good for me to stop by. But I'll keep you guys updated on more messages that I get from these Moldavites in these coming weeks. So I know it's already starting to be in November. It's really, really close to this equinox day, December 21st. So honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. But now I know with the election, the energy is going to be very, very dense. So it's really just remember not to get triggered, right? Because so many people are in their throat chakra is starting to open up, right? They're starting to speak up. The earth's frequency is rising, and these energies have to leave, or people can't ascend with their bodies. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know anything else I need to know. So I'll keep you guys tuned. That's all I have for today. Tammy Doe, signing off.